Hello and welcome again to
Wisdom for Menopause and Beyond.
For Midlife. People in midlife, people from midlife, people growing up from midlife into older life. But it's about wisdom, tips, tricks, things that our people, our friends,
insights,
clients,
things we've learnt, all those things.
Else. So Alison has got this amazing core program.
Oh yes, it was interesting. It's called the core program. Okay, and it was something I came across when I was in America, and I love this because the woman who wrote it's called Peggy Brill.
Oh,
so she's Brill. So what it is, she's a physical therapist, she's a physiotherapist in a sense by any other name, it's American. And I love this, now every woman can feel her best and 15 minutes a day that can change your life and all this kind of wonderful stuff they've got on the front cover. Stop aches and pains, feel energized, end fatigue, build strength. A lot to get out of this book, isn't it? Anyway, but the main thing I was interested in, so I did this when I lived in the States. I did it for quite a while. I think it was recommended to me by a woman I knew out there, a friend who was a physical therapist. And it's great. And she looked at it and it's very good in terms of, it actually goes into a lot of things. Like, we're always talked about, you must do weight bearing exercise and the rest of it. She actually does go through some of the weight exercises that you should not do as a woman because the body doesn't work. And I think there's one where, where you sit and you have a weight in front of your ankles and you're supposed to straighten your legs.
Okay.
So don't ever do that. Apparently it does something different to women's bodies than men's.
Well, your legs are in different alignment. Well, they're not quite like that, but they're kind of like that.
Whatever. So it's quite good. But what I kind of thought was interesting, because it says 15 minutes a day, and you think, how difficult can that be? So I did it for a while, and then as you do, I kind of like, okay, put it to one side, stop doing it. Very easy to get out of the habit of doing something. And then recently I refound it, like when you found it, I refound the book and I thought, oh, that's interesting because people say, when how old you must do weight bearing exercise and you must do these kind of different things. And I've kind of started half-heartedly going to yoga maybe once a week. I'm amazed just while you're sitting down. So these kind of things to think, so I should be doing something which kind of stresses my bone, or kind of like makes my bones resist whatever it is, do those different things, maybe I should get serious about it now. So I kind of refound it and I thought 15 minutes a day. And she's right. It only takes 15 minutes every day. And still I have that moment when I'm getting out of bed, because for me, I need to do it first thing in the morning, because if I don't do it, then I don't do it at all. And I still have that moment getting out of bed. Oh, I don't want to do this. And you think it's going to take you 15 minutes. But there's a resistance. And it's like, so what is it that makes us, here's something that is 15 minutes a day and you only have to do it 5 times a week. So I just do it Monday to Friday, that kind of thing. Great. Why is it still a problem? Why is it so difficult to do something that only takes a small slice of time on a regular basis?
These millions of apps that are going to turn you into a marathon runner in 15 minutes a day.
We have to be told it's got to be simple.
We've got to be told, but is it a lack of self-love? Is it a duty to look after others before ourselves? Is it routine? Or is it stubborn? We don't want to be told.
Well, I think we can. Oh, I don't know why you're looking at me when you say that.
No. It's like, if they said, whatever you do, never do that program ever.
Right. Okay.
Would you get up and do
That's right.
with that work? So it's kind of interesting trying to get to the core of the core program, why we don't do that.
And I also think there's another thing there. It's like, well, I've done it once.
Yeah.
Why am I not immediately better?
Yes.
So it's not a once and fixed. It's an everyday tediously routine in a sense. You just do your 15 minutes every day and you have to trust that it's getting better, that whatever you're doing is positive for your body. And she does kind of work from, there's a basic program, an intermediate program, and an advanced program. So she takes you through those different things, which is great. And it's like, so I've got to keep doing it because in the long run, it'll benefit me. But then I'll still have to keep doing it, even when in the long run it's benefiting me.
I can remember years ago, 100 years ago, I went to the step aerobics, which was hysterical because I couldn't know my right from my left or turn around.
That's always useful.
Yeah, I'm really not a natural dancer in any way, shape or form. So that was really quite hysterical. But I can remember just suffering, going right, left, then you have to do this bit and pretend you're serving drinks when you go around on the step and all this stuff.
Right.
It was very 80s. And it was all that sort of stuff where people wore the fluffy leggings and things like that. And then I remember the woman saying, and we have to do this every day, girls, every day. And if you miss one day, you go back a week. And if you miss a week, it's like you've never done it. And I went, great, because I'll stop now. Stop now. Rather than go another 20 years and stop, I'll just stop now, because that'll be it. But I think it's like coming back to that point of, we put ourselves, we have to do it. I've had so many people, blah, 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 blah. I had so many people that come as clients that say, I have to do it first thing in the morning. And therefore, they do it first thing in the morning, and then they have to get up early, but they're not sleeping because they're menopausal, and they're not sleeping, and they have to get up early, otherwise they don't do their exercise, and then they can't go. And I said, well, who made the law? Who made the law first thing in the morning? And it's quite interesting that it comes from mother, like you clean your teeth first thing in the morning, you get up first thing in the morning. If you don't do it first thing in the morning, that's it all, because this is your time, and then it belongs to the rest of the world. And it's almost like, I can remember another friend of mine said, I do yoga mid-afternoon, 20 minutes mid-afternoon. Now, I'm not saying, I think sometimes we get that little, and if we're too tired or we can't do it,
there's a story,
there's something. Whereas actually you think, today at some point I'm going to do my 15 minutes. And I think it's, people say, but I can only do it when.
Yeah.
And that might be true for some people, but I just think being a little bit more flexible, going, at some point in this day, in the next 24 hours, I'm going to have 15 minutes that's going to make my life better for me.
Well, you know, flexibility is not one of my strong points.
No, but it's this very fixed 15 minutes. And I think whether it's exercise, whether it's reading, whether it's whatever it is, I think giving ourselves 15 minutes that's going to be better for our life is a really important build into our day.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And I kind of think that it is what's going on with me, is that I'm not getting an immediate result. So I have to trust in the process. And I think that that's a different thing, isn't it? That's like, okay, I just have to trust that doing this every day is going to be better for me in the long run. Do you enjoy doing it every day? Some exercises are okay. Some exercises I'm very annoyed by. But I've also realised that, do you know what? They're not that difficult, and they don't take very long. I'm only doing it for a minute, you know. So it's like, okay, that's interesting. But I think that by the time I get to the advanced, because I'm on the intermediate one now. I'm off the basic, I'm on to intermediate, which is why I'm annoyed by the whole set of new exercises that I have to do. But it's just a kind of thing of, well, get over yourself, you know. And actually, do you know what? 15 minutes a day isn't a lot out of my day. And it is, I mean, I trust the person who told me about it, and I trust the woman who wrote the book, that actually it is going to be beneficial. And I think in my head, the thing about not doing 15 minutes a day is because I want the result now. And I think that might be why people get out of the habit of doing something, because the result hasn't happened now. And if it's not happened now, I'm not going to do it. It is true. Like, I've done it for a week. Yeah. I want my sweeties. Why can't I run a marathon? Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's and there's also sometimes, and I accept, there is that, if I don't do that 15 minutes, I might as well just skip it. I'll start again tomorrow. That's what I found. So I got out of the habit of, once I'd not done it for a week, I never went back to do it. And actually, it's a bit like a diet where you know, people say, I did really badly on holiday for a week, so I may as well put on another 15 stone. You know, that sort of, because I understand that. I'm not, that's not critical. But I used to do, I've got the small of my back is very bad, always has been. And my shower takes forever to get hot. So, two very separate things. Why are you saying that? Well, they come together at this point, where while I'm waiting for it to get hot, I've been doing flat-footed squats. Okay. All the way down, completely flat-footed, like they do in India, where they sit down and cook. And that
opens, the smaller the back, so you don't get back problems. And if I do 3 of those slowly and hold it, then the water's hot. And you think, what I can't do is get up and do 3 flat-footed squats.
Right. So what you've made it,
but I've made it part of like, well, I'm standing
else.
here waiting for this anyway.
Yeah.
So let's do that. And it's sort of that routine. I think for me, it's that if you get up, you have to do this. Don't want to do that. Well, I've got to get up. I don't want to do that. And it ends up in this sort of. So I kind of So instead of say 15 minutes, and I know that's best. It's almost like rather than just give up on all of it if this bit doesn't work, it's like do 3 lots of 5 minutes, which is I know that's not what the program is. I do accept that it's better to do what they say. I know that. So just doing that, I haven't had a bad back.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like I used to do kind of qigong. There's a particular kind of standing meditation, which I think is stand like a tree, and I just used to do it, you know, while the kettle was boiling.
Yeah.
And it was 30 seconds, but it was like, okay, yeah, fair enough. But I think it's obviously a bigger topic than we realise.
It is a bigger topic than we realise, because I think the 15 minutes is important. I think that's really important, because I think, why aren't I giving myself something that's really beneficial that's only taking this much? And I think that needs a bit of introspection and look at. And ultimately, it is loving ourselves and doing a nice thing for ourselves.
And trusting the process. Really.
But also, it's like, well, if I haven't quite sorted that out, it doesn't mean you do nothing. It's not like, I haven't got around to that. That's still making me angry. I'm not. No. I can still do 3 flat-footed squats. You know, while I think about incorporating that.
So we just offer that to you, as in that sense of like, if you know there's something you should do regularly but you're not doing it, there's no blame, there's no judgment, there's no nothing.
I do think you need to love yourself.
Thinking about just love yourself and do what it is. And do you know what, in the end of it, if you just think, I have to sit down for 15 minutes and read a novel. I know.
Or read a self-help book.
Okay, that's a bit.
No, that's
just read a novel.
Read a novel.
Brilliant.